matrix are also a host of other cells, including hair follicles, sweat and oil glands, and the blood vessels that feed the flesh with oxygen and nutrients. All of these types of cells have to be rebuilt into the repair tissue. A month after your paper cut, the wound is effectively healed. But long after you have forgotten all about it, the cells of your body will continue work on the wound for months, maybe a year, remodeling the site to restore it as well as they can by minimizing any scar. The redness fades as the temporary blood vessels that extended to fuel the repair process retreat, and the temporary collagen matrix that acted as a scaffold for the rebuilding is replaced with a more permanent version. A new piece of living tissue, a new piece of you, has been formed in an act of minor but necessary repair. The entirety of this reconstruction project has been brought about by thousands of cells working together and producing thousands of new, highly specialized cells that make up tissue: epidermis, glands, veins, and arteries. The fact that we, and all life, can create new living tissue out of cells is the grand idea that unites not only all living things, but every living thing that has ever existed. There are more living cells on Earth than there are stars in the known universe. Take bacteria. My crude estimate is that there are something like 5 million trillion, that's 5 with 30 zeros after it, bacteria cells on Earth. You are probably about 50 trillion human cells, give or take a few tens of trillion depending on your size. On top of all that, we are all walking petri dishes. Healthy humans are born sterile, a clean slate of only our own cells. But in a typical adult, the total human cell count is outnumbered 10 to 1 by the non-human cells that we carry in our guts, on our skin, and every surface inside and out, more often than not in the form of bacteria. But there are also bacteria's cousins, archaea, as well as larger and more complex hitchhikers such as yeast cells, protists, and the occasional parasitic worm. Right now you are probably carrying more than 1,000 alien species, most of whom you don't even notice, many of whom you couldn't live without. Mostly these passengers are a fraction the size of human cells, so by mass we're still mostly human. At a cellular level, though, we are mostly other things. These numbers are so large as to be bewildering, but they do reflect that our planet is flooded with life, and that life is only carried by cells. Though the reconstruction project of your healing paper cut is awesomely complex, at the same time it is utterly mundane. A cut, a wince, and within a few days, new skin to patch it up. Similar processes occur billions of times every minute all over our planet. Not just paper cuts and wound healing, but also the fundamental processes of all life take place through cells. As we shall see, every single one of these cells, including the new skin cells on your finger, was born when an existing cell divided in two. And because of that simple fact, the cells in your cut have an ancestry dating back 4 billion years to the one exception to this rule: the very first cell. When new cells are born to patch up that cut, they are the latest in a chain that leads back, perfectly unbroken, to the very beginning of life on Earth. How do we know this? What is a cell? How are cells able to perform this, or indeed any process? How a cut heals may seem trivial, a biological act, albeit one of sophisticated orchestration, that is performed without thought. But in asking how such a refined process came to be, we will arrive ultimately at the same questions and answers that address the nature and origin of life. This audiobook is about those questions and their possible answers: the origins of our lives, the origins of all life, and the origins of new life. And at the heart of them all is our modern understanding of the cell. Where life comes from is one of a small handful of the most fundamental questions we can ask. It is a question that has preoccupied humanity throughout its existence. Every culture and every religion has a creation myth, from the ancient Egyptians, who had a god sneezing, spitting, and masturbating to create the world, to the comparatively restrained Christian story in the book of Genesis, where life was created ex nihilo, out of nothing, and humans out of mud. The true story began to reveal itself in a period of less than 100 years between the middle of the 19th and 20th centuries, with the emergence of the 3 great ideas in biology. As we will find out, cell theory, Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection, and the discovery of the structure of DNA combine neatly to describe how life works. But they also bring us to the brink of cracking the big question itself: how life began. Key elements of that narrative are elusive, and contemporary scientists are hard at work filling in the gaps. With more fervor than at any time before, a model of Genesis is emerging, using the weight of modern biology to reconstruct the deep past. It is only very recently, with our solid understanding of the genes, proteins, and mechanics of these living chemical processes, that we can seriously question how they came to be in the